Good afternoon, people of grace. For today's pastoral word of encouragement, I want to talk about Daniel's healthy soul. Last Sunday, as we worked our way through the book of Daniel, we were in Daniel chapter 4. So this Sunday, we will be in Daniel chapter 5. And there's about a 40-year gap between Daniel 4 and Daniel 5. So Daniel 4 sees Daniel as a young man. And in Daniel chapter 5, Daniel is an old man who is still serving in the court of Babylon, now serving Nebuchadnezzar's son, who is on the throne, or Nebuchadnezzar's descendant, who is on the throne. So we'll talk more about that this Sunday. But as we look at Daniel and we take this pause between Daniel 4 and Daniel 5, I really want us to consider the components of a healthy soul, of a healthy self, of a healthy person, spiritually speaking. And to do that, I want to just take a brief peek at the last part of the description of love in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, specifically verse 7, where it says, in this case in the New International Version, love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres, and then first part of verse 8, love never fails. And I would take those little pieces and really use them to gain a glimpse, a better understanding of Daniel's awareness, his mentality, where he was as a person, Daniel's soul. So when you look at these phrases, love always protects, which that idea of protection is really kind of put a roof over something, provide a shelter, and bear up under the weight of something, as a roof might, protect us from things that are bearing down on that roof. So it's protecting by covering, and then trusting, hoping, persevering. It's easy to read that at a surface level and think that love is naive. This passage is not saying that love trusts everyone all the time, or something kind of crazy like that. Really, it's talking about love's potential. It's talking about love has this all protect mentality. Love has this unending ability to have faith, to believe. Love has this unending ability to have hope. Love has this unending ability to persevere in whatever circumstance you find yourself. So really the idea is kind of like this. If you need in your soul spiritually to persevere for 1 mile, love will give you the ability to go the extra mile, to go 2. It's really talking about love's potentiality. It's not saying that love trusts everyone. God does not trust Satan, because Satan's not trustworthy. But God's ability to trust is not damaged, and his ability to exercise faith, so to speak. Faith for God is different than faith for us, but it's still a faithfulness. So when you look at those 4 things, and you really settle into those 4 things, then you cannot fail. So what most threatens those 4 things? When are we most likely to not seek someone's best interest and try to bear up under them like a roof protecting them? When is our faith and our ability to move forward with confidence going to waver? When is our hopefulness and just fixing our eyes on the positive end that God has promised to his people? When's that most likely to waver? When are we likely to lose heart and quit? The short answer is when we are fearful and anxious. Because fear for us is not like the fear of the holy angels. It has become something that's very tormenting for us. It discourages us, whereas love encourages us. And that's what you see in Daniel, is that Daniel could interact with Nebuchadnezzar in a way that was actually trying to support Nebuchadnezzar and protect Nebuchadnezzar, and be faithful in his actions toward Nebuchadnezzar and hopeful in his actions toward Nebuchadnezzar, and never quitting in his determination to be a healthy soul toward Nebuchadnezzar. And as followers of Jesus, We need to hold ourselves accountable to be that kind of loving person. And here's the beauty of it. When you are that way, you cannot fail. God is not looking at earthly measurable outcomes. God is looking at the posture of your heart. And when your heart is in this brief, shining moment of being in this protecting place, this trusting place, this hopeful place, this persevering place, or really one translation I read said it best, there is nothing love cannot face. There is no limit to its faith, no limit to its hope, no limit to its endurance. And if you want to see one of the very few saints in the whole Bible that really models those things, it's Daniel. And when we catch a glimpse of those things and love wells up in our soul and says, there's nothing I cannot face. There is no limit to my confidence in God. There is no limit to my hope. Those things cannot be exhausted in me. Then we are in a place where we cannot fail. In the journey of life, our ship will not founder on the rocks. We will persevere until our journey ends and we enter into the presence of the Lord. Daniel had that kind of courage. When we catch brief glimpses of it and our love can face anything and not waver in its faith and not lose hope and not grow weary and quit, when we are in that place, even for a brief shining moment, it's a very freeing, beautiful place to be. It creates kind of a lightness of being in us because we're not naive. We are not going to make this world well, but we can be well. Daniel knew it was well with his soul. Dare to be a Daniel. When we catch glimpses of that, it's a beautiful thing, and that's an encouraging thought. So go be a protector, be beautiful, dare to be a Daniel. It's worth the effort.